Hello, hi everybody. Welcome to Hotelcast. This is Paula speaking. Do you hear me well? Is everything going good here? I'm asking because we have, as you can see, we have already one of our guests here with us, and the other one, Christine. Hi, Shep. The other one, Christine. She's trying to log in, so that's why I'm asking you guys if you're. Please let us know if you're not hearing us or having problems with sounds or anything like that, or the video. But anyway, welcome to Hotelcast, another episode of Hotelcast TV. I'm pretty excited. I was already nervous before the show because I have these two stars right with me. And now I'm actually a little bit more nervous when we just start recording here. So anyway, you can see with me here, there's Shep Heiken. And
hey there.
You hear me? Hello. And you hear me, right? It is Shep Heiken. I have to say like 3 times, Shep, to see if it's actually real that it's happening, that you are here with us today. Thank you so much for giving your time and being here.
My pleasure.
Yeah, and well, Shep Heiken, as you probably everybody knows already, but you know, Shep, we do have a global webinar. We have people from all parts of the world. Please let us know from where you're watching from. That would be nice to know as well. And maybe so there is 1 or 2 people that don't know you yet. So maybe if you could just introduce yourself a little bit, just quickly. Tell us a little bit about what you do now. I know you are New York Times bestseller author, and which is and the Wallet Journal too, right? So you are someone that I really respect.
Makes my mom proud. Yeah, I've been doing this for a long time. Since the mid 1980s, I started my business focused on speaking at events on the topic of customer service. I expanded into more of what was called customer experience, which was just a fancy word for service. Today, experience is much bigger than that. Mm-hmm. But over the years, I've had, I had real jobs as I was growing up, if you want to call it that. And before I started my own business, not too far out of college. And this is what I've been doing and focusing on for like 38 years now.
Wow. And I was telling Shep in the backstage here that I follow his work, and I actually got in touch with his work last year through Rupesh Patel, who is also a great guy. Hi, Rupesh. And maybe I'm pretty sure, Shep, that you don't remember that, but I have to say this little story. Last year, I made an interview and I sent to some of my connections on LinkedIn, and you were one of those persons that people that I sent. And then you were so kind, because you don't know me or anything, but you were still very kind, and you posted it on your Twitter. So when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, the Shep Heiken is posting my content. And then I actually printed, and I have it here. I have it with me, and it's something that I am proud. So thank you so much, Shep.
Oh, thank you very much. Aw, shucks. So.
Well, in case you are wondering, hello from Argentina. Let's see here, people. Argentina, Nigeria, USA. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. As I said in the beginning, we do have some technical issues with Christine Trippi, who is our other guest. I think she's
but she's here now.
Hello.
No more technical issues.
Hello. Hi.
I'm so sorry. I tried another browser.
That's great, Christine.
It was the browser.
It was the browser.
You have no idea how happy I am right now to see you. I was already freaking out having you two with me today, and then it's like, oh my God, please let this work. And so thank you so much, Christine.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. And Paula, let me just say right now, it is us two that are so honored and nervous to be here with you, because you are a rock star.
Oh, Christine, you are the
Amen.
best. Seriously, you're the
I
best.
mean that.
No, there is no. It's no wonder why you two are so good in what you do, which is customer service and experience. Because you two are, you have to be good people, I think, to be good in that. And thank you so much. So, Christine, we had already started a little bit. Shep already said introduce himself. So let me welcome you, Christine. Thank you for being here. And
Thank
well, I
you.
interviewed Christine actually last year, and now Christine, you are award-winning GM. You still are. It's a title that no one can take it from you. And now you have your own company. You're the CEO of Wise Pineapple. So we have people from a lot of countries here, and maybe have one or two that don't know you yet. So Christine, if you could just introduce yourself a little bit and tell us what you do now.
Certainly. Well, I'm Christine Trippi. I am the Director of Fun here at the Wise Pineapple. And I have the sign right up there to prove it. And I help people and organizations lead from the heart, be confident, and be empowered. And that's what it's all about. Everything we do is about that. And it's just, I've been in hospitality for 33 plus years now. And it has been my honor to do this work. And my heart right now is breaking for our industry. And so everything I've done since the beginning of COVID is just to add that positive atmosphere, positivity in the world. Right now, doing some webinars, doing some online things, doing some virtual training. So doing some virtual presentations. That's kind of what I've been doing these days. But just whatever I can do to keep hospitality in hospitality.
That's awesome, Christine. We surely need this injection of positive vibes, because it is everybody's struggling, regardless if you the USA or Brazil or whatever. Everybody, the whole hospitality is struggling right now. So I appreciate your energy and being here with me. And I'm gonna also share a story. Before I share a story with Shep, and I also have a story with Christine. Christine, last year when I started doing the podcast, I started recording podcasts, and I was so nervous. Well, I still am doing this, but I was even worse. And then I said to Christine, I said, "Oh, Christine, I'm doing this webinar, blah, blah, blah." And Christine not only she wrote me back supporting it, but I don't know if you remember, Christine, but you sent me a video message. And I just want you to know that not only I save it on the cloud, but I save it in my heart, really. So thank you so much. It's you have no idea what it meant to me. So thank you. Okay. Okay, so let's get down to business, because people are here and they want to learn about the hotel customer service right now, because like everything else in hospitality or in customers or in business in general is changing. Everything is changing, and I want to start talking with you guys about the two kinds of service that we see now, the customer service that we're seeing now. If you think about McDonald's or banks or supermarkets, what they have in common. I mean, this is not some kind of riddle, but they do both provide two distinguished kinds of customer service, right? We do have the traditional way of customer service with the human assistance, but they also implement the self-service. And this is something that was already happening even before the pandemic. And I think now, because of the pandemic and all the safety issues and all that, it's even more, it's even bigger now, right? But these companies, they quickly noticed that there were some people that like more service to be fast and easy, and some like to be more personalized. So Shep, I want to start with you. What is your opinion or your view overall of customer service right now? Do you think that customers want and need to have different kinds of customer services?
Sure. So in the travel industry, I know it's frustrating for many. And I just want to say I'm impressed with the airline that came up with the idea of, we'll take you on a trip to nowhere and just fly people around. Did you see that in the New York Times article? That's brilliant thinking. I talked to head of guest relations and reservations and customer service for a major brand worldwide. And she said that really the travel in certain sectors has come to a halt, but people who are wanting to take trips are looking to drive places, looking to stay in hotels that are in not so much these big hotels, but they're like going, like they want to go to a resort type of hotel. Social distance, of course, be able to do their own thing. So it's not dead, but it's definitely hurting for those that don't get on it. So the question you have is, I think customers today in general, let's talk about general, not just the hospitality world. They're in a stressful situation due to the pandemic. I think people are starting to become comfortable with it, but this manifests itself in people being more frustrated, not getting answers quickly frustrates them more than ever. Not being able to connect with a human agent when they want to frustrates them more than ever. Sometimes this frustration and this stress manifests itself in anger. There was a stat that came out just a few months ago, not about 2 months ago, about the increase in customers wanting to go from digital to human by as much as 38% in the US and 39% in the UK. So I would say probably around the rest of the world, give or take, it's probably close to the same. And what that means is that people just, are quick to want to talk to a person when they need help if they can't get it right away. So anyway, that's in general. I think that people are more and more accepting of digital service and artificial intelligence supporting the service until it doesn't work. And so those are just a few thoughts.
No, I think you're totally right, Shep. And I can say because I work in a chatbot company, right? So that develop a chatbot. So I think I can say that I think the biggest misconception is that chatbots or whatever self-service will replace the human service, which is not the idea. The idea is to blend both, in the better way for the customer. So when he wants something that it's easy and simple, you can fix it. And if you want something that it's maybe more complex or you need some personalized service, you can also, and like you said, Shep, and you pointed out very, very true, it has to be easy to do this transition. And that is something that, well, from our part, from S-Suite, we do take in account, to if the chatbot is not, can't help you, you have a quick way to go to human agent. Yeah. And so Christine, sorry.
I wanted to say that as far as replacing humans, do you remember probably even if at a young age or even before you were born, Paula, the ATM, the bank, that you can go pick up. They said ATMs will replace the teller. No, ATMs did not replace the teller. And you know what else? Video didn't kill the radio star. So I don't believe that chatbots and really even artificial intelligence in general, at least in the foreseeable future, is going to eliminate the human from a customer support or a guest relations center.
Agreed.
And Christine, can you? I think you can talk a little bit more specific about hotels and the hospitality industry, because hospitality industry, well, customer service is very tight. It has a tight connection with human service, and hospitality, I think it's maybe even stronger. So how do you see this connection between machines and humans and in customer service and guest service in case?
Well, in case he's out there, I was when I posted about being on your webinar here today, Joshua Schreiber and I, we were actually discussing this online, and we were both in agreement where we think we're probably maybe the odd man out on this thought, is that we are not afraid of it at all. And we actually think it's a great thing because you can take away some of those menial tasks and then really focus on the extraordinary. And that will free you up from that. Now, I love what Shep was saying about once it goes wrong, people want to be able to just do it online and feel it and touch it and look at the options. But once it goes wrong, they want to be able to get a hold of you. And if you can't, that's what's frustrating. For me as a customer, the most frustrating thing I have is when I'm trying to solve a problem and I can't get anybody on the phone. And I have to go through a million prompts. At my old hotel where I was a general manager, I refused to allow the auto answer. That was the one thing that I wanted to make sure we kept human. Well, aside from when you first come in and all that, but you know, doing things online and mobile chats and things like that. But when you called us because you needed us, we were going to be human then. So for me, that was something that I balanced with and kept that, and people appreciated that. So that's just something in my own opinion. But I really do feel like mobile, I don't want to use Marriott language, but the mobile chat and the whole personalization softwares that all the different companies are using right now, they are the programs I've waited 30 years for, to be able to personalize and keep notes on what their favorite M&M is, and you know, all those different things. And even though so much of that's going to take away from the actual check-in or the actual questions face-to-face, I'm going to still need human beings to go through those reports and those arrivals and be able to then do the extraordinary and say, oh, this person's coming in for this special occasion, or this person loves Captain Morgan and Diet Coke.
How about Captain Crunch and whole milk?
So that's what I really feel that it's wonderful. Now, here's the caveat. Even though we all know that life is change, it doesn't matter what new change is going to be implemented. People resist it. And you can think back to the beginning of time, honestly. But even just in the recent years, when we changed our guest service survey platform, or when we changed a PMS platform, everybody's like, this will never work, or this will be awful. And then we all end up adapting and loving it, etc. But it's the change that scares everybody. So to just keep reminding yourself of that change you just are now used to, that you can do it again. You can get there.
Yeah, well, I couldn't agree more, Christine. And I think you mentioned, and Shep mentioned also of a key point, is that humans should do what they do best, and to do the extraordinary. You know, let the machines do the manual tasks, and human resources. So it's expensive. Actually, you have to use the best of it, and the best of it is not. I remember we were talking about writing. Now have like PMS, but when I worked in the hotel industry, I'm not that young, and didn't have I had a hotel that didn't have even PMS. And I have to write everything in Excel and all that. And it's like, oh my God. And I spend like most of my time doing things that technology could easily do it for me, instead of, you know.
When you think about customer experience, think about the employee experience. And while we want to make it really easy for our guests, we also need to, at the same time, not add a burden to the employees and the associates who are taking care of them, because we created a better, I can think of, like in the support center world, we create a better piece of software for our customers, but then it adds a layer of extra steps for the associate or the call center rep, and then all of a sudden they're upset with this. So it just kind of negates everything. But I can imagine if somebody, and I think this is where I think it makes sense, Christine, when you walk into a hotel, now digital check-in, you don't have to go to the front desk. And that is a form of reducing friction. You've eliminated a step. You could be checking in on your mobile phone on the way in. Geofencing allows the property to know that the customer, the guest, is now on property. And we can still take a look at those preferences. We know that they like Captain Crunch and Captain Morgan. So even though they've checked in and bypassed the human that's there behind the desk to support the guest that needs help, doesn't mean we can't get an alert that this guest is now here, and we can send our little robot to their room to knock on the door with a tray that has their breakfast and their evening's favorite drink. So, right. And I think it's just really cool that we can put that, but it's still going to take people, all of these technologies. You go to a website, it's a website that was developed by people to be used for people. Yeah. And so there's people that are involved at virtually every level, from the inception to supporting it when it doesn't work, and to being there at the end when it's most important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm sorry, Paula, go ahead.
No. I was just going to say that just complimenting what Shep said, Leticia wrote here for us about, yeah, you're going to do that. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to just read it, and then you add your comment, Christine. Leticia wrote here, when we teach our staff how to use the amazing technology and resources we have available, they are in what, sorry? Oh, I can't read it. And so happy to have access to all of it. I think the key is showing the staff the why and what it's in for me. I think that's what you guys were saying about. Thank you, Leticia, for being here and for adding this insight. So Christine, you want to say something about it?
Yes, and hello, Leticia. Thank you so much for the comment and for being here. I wonder if you are quoting me with the what's in it for me. I'm always talking about the with them. But here's something. As I was consulting properties across the country, this was with Marriott, and then after when I was doing it on my own, we would talk about mobile check-in and mobile chat. And it was a slow role to get everybody to embrace this new technology. So I would say to the front desk, I'd say, while you're trying to do all the things you do at the front desk, check people in and answer phones and answer questions and all of that good stuff, would you rather answer 3 phone calls, or would you rather send 3 texts? And they all go, I'd rather send 3 texts. I'm like, bingo! So you need to love this new software, because it's going to stop that ringing phone behind you, and it's going to allow you to serve the person in front of you and then just quickly respond the way the guest wants you to respond through a text. Once you start using the with them, what's in it for me, you start to get a lot more buy-in from your people. So that's why I love that she put that. You got to talk to what's in it for them. That's one of the coaching tips that I talk about all the time as well. And again, find that connection to how they benefit from it as well. And that is so true. I talk about that in every property I go to, and everybody goes, yeah, duh. And so it's a good thing.
On the guest side, however, you need to teach the guest to use this technology. Mm-hmm. And I love the way, if we could go all the way back to what the airlines did when they first came out with booking online. And that was, we'll give you extra points or $25 off your, well, basically saying if you use a person, you're charged $25 more. But there was this incentive, often by mileage, they give you extra miles. Same thing when it came to the automatic check-in. If you did it at home and printed out your own boarding pass and now just put it on your mobile phone, they were training their customers, their passengers, to do this. The same way as the hotel industry is starting to train people to book online, check in online, and it's a matter of getting them to do it. We give them an incentive to do it. They try it. They like it. It reduces friction. They like the experience, and they'll start doing it more often. It becomes a habit.
Absolutely. Yeah. And here is another thing, talking to my front desk people as I travel across the country, is we as an industry are changing so much and so quickly, and it's important that we also change. So for example, a long time ago, now this has been good maybe 8 years now, we changed our main metric from overall satisfaction to do you have an intent to recommend us? Right. But yet we still say at checkout or throughout their stay, oh, how's your stay? How was everything? Rather, we want to change our language to something more along the lines of, we hope you'll recommend us to your friends and family, or we hope that we can count on your kind recommendation to your colleagues. You want to start planting the seeds of things that are more important to us now. Same thing at check-in. You hear a really great associate would say, oh, I'm Christine. I'll be here till 11 o'clock. If you need anything, just give me a call. Forget that. You want to say, I'll be here till 11 o'clock. If you need anything at all, just text us on your mobile app. Whatever brand that may be. We need to start changing our language, like you were saying, is to get to train the customer as well. Oh yeah, when I'm in my room, I can still text you. If I need towels, if I need Captain Morgan,
Yeah. Well, you two, well, I wrote down here so many topics. I think we could do this like 2 hours. And for me, it's been very
we can do it 4 hours.
Seriously, we've got a masterclass here.
10 hours.
But okay. 10 hours. Okay, but let me just let me break it a little bit here from what you guys were saying. Christine mentioned something that is quite important, and this how to. You have to measure how to, if your service is actually good, right? You're saying about changing the way you ask the customer if he's satisfied or not. And I know Shep wrote recently about how can be so disconnect. Leaders think that service, customer service is, and what it actually is. So since Christine already gave us little tip here, I would like to know, Shep, many hotel managers are listening to us right now, and they probably wonder, do I have a problem or not? How they can know if they have a problem in their customer service or guest service?
Sure. I'll address that question, but then we can spend an entire time talking about measurement and customer satisfaction scores and NPS scores and all that. And I want to get back to that because I think we're missing some opportunities to share some insights that Christina may have. And I've got a few thoughts. So the article is about the disconnect between leadership and the front line, where leaders think we've got a great experience, yet the front line saying, you don't know how many complaints we're getting and you're not listening to us, or else you would change what our process is, or you change this policy that we have. And I hate that word policy. But what happens is not enough of our leadership, they say, oh, I'll go ahead and mystery shop my hotel. And what does that mean? I'll call. And you know what you'll call? You'll call when it's convenient to you, and you'll call when you know the lines aren't busy, okay? And you don't get the experience at peak time. You don't get the experience at 1 a.m. when a guest is thinking about taking their trip and trying to book a room with you, having an issue, and you're on a skeleton crew, and we're put on hold for 45 minutes before somebody comes back, without the option, by the way, of having somebody call me back or even telling me how long the hold is going to be. I'm talking about an antiquated hold system that, to me, I still experience quite often. So I think the best idea is to get the leadership to spend time at the front desk, to spend time on the phones. Big thumbs up, huge thumbs up. Yeah, is that like just a sign, or is that 3D statue?
Don't you have a set of thumbs, the huge thumbs up at your desk?
I'm going to make one of those. That is a beautiful idea. Oh man, you know what? Here's the thing. I would love to be reprimanded by you, because I bet when I'm being reprimanded by you, you'll make me smile and laugh while this is happening.
I will.
Yeah, I can tell. Like, I wish I had that trait about me. My team goes, "You're so direct." You know, I'm thinking, well, we're too small not to be. You know, you got to know how. Anyway, I digress. But
clarity is kindness.
Yes. Exactly. The point of that is we've got to get the people at the top, the people who are behind the scenes, the people behind that door, okay, to come out front and spend time, various times, recognizing the opportunities they have, sitting down with the team and saying, what are the top problems that we are experiencing, the complaints that we have, the questions that come up. And then let's go through and only take 2 or 3 at a time. We'll prioritize. So what do we need to do to eliminate or mitigate these? When somebody says, well, that happens all the time, I'm thinking, why does it happen all the time? Why aren't we doing something to keep it from happening all the time? Putting a different process in place, training our people to handle it differently. You know, the best hotels in the world aren't perfect, but what they are is good at recovery because they've got a system, a process, and the proper training in place. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, all right, I want to go back to Christine's comment about NPS or likelihood to recommend to friends. So I don't know if some of the hotels are using the Net Promoter Score. I'm pretty sure everybody would know what that is, but just in case, on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 no, 10 yes, what's the likelihood you'd recommend us? And a 9 or a 10 promotes you. A 7 or 8 is passive. The experience is satisfactory, but you don't know if it's leaning toward a promoter, or anything less than a 7 or 8 is a detractor. And then there's a formula to determine your score. But I always like to know, number one, and I think willingness to recommend is a really good indicator. I want to know why you gave me the 9 or the 10 if you gave me a high score. If you gave me anything lower, I want to know what it would take to improve by at least one number. So I'm going to try to get to some subjective information as well as, straight up numbers. And I might ask another numerical 0 to 10 or 1 to 10, depending on how you want to set it up, type question. But I need that open-ended data. But I do want to say, and I'm writing a book specifically about this, where I think one of the most important chapters is the fact that all of these stats are great, but it doesn't measure future behavior. The only way you know future behavior is when it takes place in the future, and then it immediately becomes past behavior. But the question I have is, does the customer come back? And how often do they, or the guest come back? How often do they come back? To me, repeat business does not mean loyal business, but repeat business is an indication that you could be on to something here. Okay. So the behavior is just as important as the stat that you get.
I love that.
Yeah. Christine, you want to add something more about, because I know you are all about, you do a lot of training, which is another topic that we're going to, the training staff we were already mentioned before. And you have the book, Yes is the Answer. So you are pretty good on doing that. Yeah.
I love that book.
Oh, thank you. Oh my God, you have my book?
I have Yes is the Answer.
See, Christine.
That's so adorable. For me, just as a little side note, I mean, you probably know way more about all of the statistics of all of that. I wouldn't say statistics is my strong suit.
It's not mine either.
Okay.
Believe me. You know what? I'm already, it's a 3-letter statistics, 3 letters. By the 3rd letter, falling asleep. So
Exactly. But what I will say is that I really do love the intent to recommend. And I do feel like intent to recommend is that signifier of future. So right, I'm going to recommend it. I'm also recommending it again for myself. So I do feel like that is so important. And if it was down to one question, I do think that would you recommend, would you go out in the world and be our advocate?
Right.
Because nobody is listening to paid advertising anymore. It's all about what you see from friends, family, social media, the experiences that people post. I'm going to give you a quick example. So at the last place I was a general manager at a Courtyard, we were one of the closest hotels to the Navy boot camp, where they graduated from boot camp for the United States Navy. And at the time when I took over the property, it was a red zone property. We had a lot of new hotels in the area. We were losing lots of share. So one of the things we started was really like just amping up what we do for our Navy people. Once I changed the culture on how our associates felt about our Navy guests, everything changed. And once I started posting on Facebook, our Courtyard Facebook page, we would be like paparazzi. They would come back from graduation and we would be there with the red carpet and photos. And then I'd give them a QR code. You can get your picture on our Facebook page. They'd like our page. Then all their Navy mama fans or friends would see what we do. Then pretty soon we were the #1 hotel for the Navy boot camp. And that was all through organic, free Facebook usage. So again, it's a really where you're going to make the big difference is by having advocates out there. And if you provide extraordinary service, you're going to have a lot of advocates out there selling for you.
Yeah. And the NPS question, if somebody said you can only ask one question, I mean, if you've read all my work, I'm a big fan of the likely to recommend. And then there's something called the NPS system, which takes that score and monetizes it for the organization. And this is all about how you use that number, the questions to ask, how to respond to the lower scores that you get, to turn those negative detractors around to advocates. And so it's fascinating. And, one of the first times I'd heard about NPS, Fred Reichheld was the guy that pioneered NPS for Bain & Company, was with somebody somewhat related to the hospitality industry, the rental car industry.
Oh.
And that was Enterprise Rent-A-Car, who didn't necessarily have a lot of locations at airports in the beginning. They were primarily like in collision centers and car dealerships, but they expanded. They saw the opportunity, and now they own National, and they own Alamo. So they're really into the consumer who's out there traveling as well. But the point of all this is they recognized the power of saying, yeah, you're good enough that I'd recommend you. And I urge you to understand that number well enough to figure out how you can benefit, because just knowing people are happy is feeling good, but knowing people are happy and being able to take advantage of it. What if I asked 100 guests the same question on the scale of 0 to 10, would you recommend? And all of them gave me a 10. You'd feel pretty good, right? Yeah. What would you want to do at that point? I want to ask them this question. What's one thing you can think of that would make the experience even better? Okay. Now, I may not get any answers. I'll get some, but any answers that make sense, because some people come up with crazy ideas. Give me the room for free. Okay. Not going to happen. But let's say a half a dozen people came up with the same idea and it looks pretty good. Well, now you've got an opportunity to improve on greatness. And so that's the way I like to use those kinds of numbers, not just to make me feel good and to tell our people we're doing great. No, we could even do better than great if we asked.
Yes, and this is awesome. If I can, I think this will be good for all the people out there listening. Okay, so there's so many things I want to address on there. I'm gonna go back to the question. One of the things that I love, and I've seen this in fast food, that you get a one question survey, and I love this one, and it's just, would you hire the person that served you?
Bam! It's so nice. Good. Right. It's a great question. I love it because American Airlines, Delta Airlines, and they'll rotate questions so that with enough customers, you don't need to hear from every customer the same question. If you've got a big enough customer or guest base, you can, if you've got 1,000 people you're going to survey, why not ask 3 questions to get 333 answers to each one of those questions?
Yes. So the other thing that I think will be very helpful to your listeners is, so again, while on property, what I would always talk about, and while I'm teaching just various classes and training, is I talk about how we are trained to say to people, how are you? How is your stay going? How is your meal? And those are not questions. Those are greetings. We've all been taught to say, oh, fine. Think about last time you had a restaurant experience that wasn't good, the server wasn't good, and they come back and they say, how was everything? And you say, fine. But inside you're like, I'm never coming back. Okay?
Yeah. So, fine is a 4-letter word that starts with F. It's the F-bomb of customer service.
Exactly.
Give me a big thumbs up on that.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. We need to ask better questions. 90% of what we do, and my book, that's what my book is about. 90% of what we do is how we say things. So one of the things I taught my people is to say, rather than say, how was everything? What's one more thing I can do to make your stay more awesome? Mm-hmm. And I'll give you one example that always pops up. Mr. Hutera, he said, well, and you will physically see when you ask a question differently like that, you will physically see people process it because it's not the same remote question where they can just automatically say, I'm fine. Yeah. So they will physically go, think it, like process it. And then Mr. Hutera, I remember he says, well, I love Diet Dr. Pepper and you guys don't carry Diet Dr. Pepper. I said, Mr. Hutera, you will always have Diet Dr. Pepper here at the Courtyard Waukegan. And I can tell you, hundreds of things I've changed or added or done, whether it's just for that one guest or for all the guests, just from asking that one thing differently. What's one thing I could do to make your stay more awesome? Love it.
Yeah, well, you're both are giving so many great tips and thumbs up for both of you. I'm gonna just, I could not do that, Shep. I seriously can. I'm gonna just say hello to people here. Hello from Israel. Yes. Oh, thank you, Paris. Also Canada. Yeah. Have someone that is joining us in midnight. Thank you, Shalom, for joining us.
Israel, Buenos Aires, Paris.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bonjour.
The whole world in one webinar. That's so cool. And we have here one, Christine actually mentioned the text messaging. And Josh saying here, have fun on the mobile chat. Think of clever phrases and fun closings to keep the interaction fun and not too sterile. And I think that's the thing, right? Because texting, I don't know. I think globally texting is huge, even in business context. And here at Switch, for example, we do have, it's not only a communication channel anymore, it's also a sales channel here. So, and it can be great and it can have a lot of problems. So Christine, since you mentioned the texting and you probably have some experience with the service by texting or communicating with guests by texting, can you think about any tips for the hoteliers of mistakes that to avoid or best practice in texting?
Honey, how long do we have?
Okay, give one tip.
Well, this is what I'll say, and I just included this in my actual keynote for Yes is the Answer, because we talk about Yes is the Answer about face-to-face. However, every property I go to, I will pull their text log, and it is always enlightening. So you will see over and over and over again, we don't use their name. Okay, you know how in a lot of our management companies, we have the guest model. All you Marriott people I know will know this. I've worked for all the brands. Pretty much they all use guest model, which if in case you don't know, it's greet, use their name, establish needs, show sincerity, and thank the guest in every interaction. Okay, so I try to explain to people that you want to use the guest model not just in your face-to-face, which we pretty much all get, but we're not carrying that over to our mobile and our technology conversations. So that's a big concern. So I can show you tons of examples where we are very no focused. So hi, I'm just checking in and wondering if I can get an upgrade today. No, unfortunately, we are sold out situation. I can show you all these. Yes is the answer. Make friends first. Thank you so much for being a Platinum Elite member. Say what I have available is, what can you do? There's always something you can upgrade to, even if it's, this room's going to come with a high five and a smile for me. Come see me at the desk.
Yeah.
I've even done that. I've done it. So what I want you to do, here's your big tip. If you haven't read Yes is the Answer, go read it. But then I want you to apply this principle in your mobile and technology, whether it's email, whether it's mobile chats, texting, into your conversations. Because think about this, my friends. There are some guests that are going to come to your hotel and you may never have a face-to-face interaction with them.
Right.
They might get a mobile check-in, a mobile key, a text message, go right to their room on the side door and leave out the side door. And every interaction, whether it's a mobile chat or a phone call, has to be extraordinary. So you want to make sure you're giving a yes energy, recognizing them by their name, their elite status, and finding that yes answer for them.
Yeah.
No more unfortunately. Get rid of no
Can I push back on the
unfortunately, sorry.
extraordinary? Unless, define extraordinary for me.
It could literally be that they get to mobile check-in.
Yeah.
It is all about who's in front of you. Because, and this is another thing you had asked before having the conversation today, are we serving the guest the way they want to be served? I think more than ever, because we extroverts that are in hospitality, we think everybody wants to be loved by us in person. But there's so many people that don't love that. And now we're giving them the option to do it this introverted way. So we're serving so many different personalities. And those extroverts, they're coming to the desk and you know it. And we're going to still see them. But now I'm able to serve the guests the way they want to be served.
Yeah,
is that cool or cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I totally agree with you, Christine. And like I said, in the beginning, I think it was one of the first questions is like, there are different kinds of customers that demand different kind of service, and even not even different kinds of customers, but even I think of myself. Sometimes I just want to get in, fast, easy, and all that. And sometimes I want to chat there in the front desk. So depending also on the mood of the person. But going back a little bit, Shep, on the text messaging and the technology, do you see this? Do you see like companies are paying attention to like training the stuff, because it is different. Right. It is a different service,
You have to train
right?
people how to properly do text properly, message properly, how to respond, the appropriateness of speed. One of the complaints that we hear, it's a bizarre complaint, is that when the chat bot answers my question, it's instantaneous, but it takes the human like a minute and a half, and they actually, after talking or interacting with the chat bot, get frustrated with the human experience because they've been going down, which is really fascinating. It's like, come on, really? But I can get it. I totally understand it. We want to serve the customer the way they want to be served. There's something in the world of customer experience called omnichannel. Right now, the hotel is primarily experiencing something called multi-channel. I give you an option, but if you're now in the world of your world with artificial intelligent chatbots seamlessly connecting to a human, that's an omni-channel experience. But if I'm a guest and I check in using the online mobile check-in, and I then want to talk to somebody about it, I have to tell the whole story all over again. It's not a continuation. And so I think the next step in this working, and it doesn't matter what industry you're in, it could, or what fashion of the hospitality industry, same thing's happening in the airlines. Although I can come to you after checking in on an airline and go to the desk and they can see a record, they can see where it got hung up, they can help me. Where a lot of times, if I'm doing this online and I head to the front desk, I've got to start over at the front desk. And it's going to get better. It's going to get better. Software is going to solve that. Everything's going to be in the cloud.
Well, I do have I don't want to sound too commercial, because this is not the point here. But
it is the point. It is absolutely the point.
Okay,
we're here to make sure that everybody knows who you are.
Okay, so Ask Suite is the we actually won the 2020 Hotel Techs Award at Best Chatbots, because we focus on hospitality industry. And why I'm saying this now, because of something that you said, Shep. We started as a chatbot, but when we realized that omnichannel is so important, so that's why we develop a platform, so people don't have to repeat themselves. Because I remember when I used to work in the hotel, I used to, answer someone on the WhatsApp here in Brazil. It's quite big, so I would answer in the WhatsApp, and then the same person would not wait for my answer. So she would, send an email or go to the chat and then some other attendant would answer her, and then would be just a mess. And no one knew who said what to who. And the customer got frustrated, because they're like, okay, but I was talking, before in the WhatsApp, and now I'm here and I'm going to have to say it all again, blah, 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 blah. So I think omnichannel, not only in the hospitality, it is a big trend that hotels must adapt. If they're not using it, they should. Do you agree, Christine? This miscommunication happens quite a lot in the hotel industry.
Yes, in every industry. And I can just think of a recent example of getting transferred to multiple people and having to tell the story. And those were humans, and they could have taken the time to explain it before connecting me over. But again, a great thing with our our new platforms that we are moving into, they have all your chats that were listed. So even if I had changed shift, I can
Yes.
do my homework and see what all was said. So like you said, we are really evolving and coming into closing some bridges there, gaps there. So that I love these new platforms. I love them. I've been waiting 30 years for these.
Well, we are actually heading to the end already, and like half of my script was not I didn't even go through because you guys you already provide so much valuable insights and all. But before we finish, I would like to go back about the topic that I know that you are top experts and you work directly with. It's again the staff training and this human and machine integration. So is there any final thoughts about this subject? I know it's very broad. I know it's we only have a few minutes, but not just, I didn't show, right? My shirt is Ask Sweet shirt. It's humans and robots. We do believe in that. It's not just me saying. So any final thoughts about this new customer service that it's emerging right now, and the best way of using it, and what should people, at least if you can have one advice, what it would be? Shep, let's start with you then.
I'd like to do two. Number one is just to kind of give a clarification of what customer service and customer experience is. They're really becoming blended together. When you start doing digital or automation, AI mixed in with human, mixed in with the front desk, interacting with the bellman, banquet captain, whatever, and then you start adding it in, it becomes a total experience. And I believe that it's not a department that manages it. It's a philosophy, and everybody has to know where they fit in. I want to riff on the extraordinary comment from earlier, because we want to create extraordinary experiences. And what extraordinary, that's what extraordinary is. And, we talked about satisfactory and fine. And like I said, fine's the F-bomb. F stands for fake smile. I stands for insincere feedback. N is never coming back, even though I'm smiling. And E is emotionless. You're dead to me, even though I'm smiling. But to be better, to be extraordinary is not over the top and blow me away. To me, extraordinary is my definition of amazement, and that is better than average, but all of the time. So on a scale of 1 to 5, better than average, if 3 is an average, you got to be about a 3.3. And I can verify that with a very famous hotel service guru, and that is Horst Schultz from the Ritz-Carlton, the co-founder and first president. And when we've always talked about this better than average all the time, for years we've both been talking about it. Actually, him for probably more years, because that was his whole thing. But I said, Horst, how much better than average? And he said very quickly in that thick accent, 10%. In other words, a 3.3 on a scale of 1 to 5 consistently and predictably will earn you the 5 that you want, because people will say they're always friendly. They're always quick to respond. They're always helpful. Even when there's a problem, they'll always take care of me, always followed by something good. All right, cut me off. That's it for me.
No.
Thank you.
Christine, you go now. Your final thoughts about this.
Okay. My main thought that I want to leave everybody with, I know we wanted to talk about training, and that's just my thing. For everyone out there, whether you are a housekeeper or a general manager or a regional leader, we are all leaders. We only hire leaders. And leadership is essentially training. That is what leadership is. And I can tell you, it doesn't matter what level in the organization that you are in, you are all setting an example for somebody. You are helping somebody else learn and grow in their role. And leadership is about mentoring and training. And the number one thing for all of you out there running hotels or running organizations, the number one thing that you can do to be legendary is to have an amazing, impactful huddle every day. Huddle is the most important thing you do every day. And I'll give you super quickly the 4 reasons, surveys were done, thousands of people interviewed, the 4 reasons people leave a job Number one, they don't feel recognized and valued. 2, they don't have information to do their job well. 3, they don't have training to grow to that next level. And 4, they don't have goals. People want to feel like they're winning. These are the 4 things that we do in Huddle every day. And if you are investing in your people every day with these 4 core things of why they stray, you are going to have a solid, beautiful culture. Get those huddles.
Agreed.
Well, I honestly feel like I'm doing my PhD on customer service. It's a lot of great information. I cannot thank you both for having the time to talk to us here. I really wish we had more time. I want to thank everybody that is writing in the chat. I'm not sure if we answer everybody. If we don't, you can ask us. I'm sure they're all available. I know I am. LinkedIn, just reach out, and we try to help you with any questions that you have left. I want to say hello also to Crystal. I have to say hello to Crystal. Crystal is a good friend, and she wrote a beautiful article about artificial empathy. And it's something that we were talking about, something that is starting, and it's really, really interesting. So if you want to know more about it, it's on Ask Suite blogs. You can check it out there. And well, Christine, do you want to leave any information? How can people contact you the best way and anything like that?
Certainly. Well, the book is Yes is the Answer, Amazon, or reach out to me. I'll sign the copy. I don't know if Shep had any idea what he was getting into with this.
I'm loving it. I want to have you on my show.
Oh,
let's do it.
Let's do it. So the book is Yes is the Answer. The website is www.thewisepineapple.com. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm Instagram and Facebook. And I just want to say, I know I was like really stressed, like, can I make this date with you today? And I just thank you so much for asking me. Thank you so much for everything you've done for me and letting me have this platform today, because I'm not able to do what I love to do nearly as much as I can and want to be. And being able to reach all your people today and share my passion for hospitality, I feel so lucky that I got to do this. So thank you.
Thank you, Christine. I was like that too in the beginning. You missed that. I was like, I have to say his name 3 times and say, okay, Shep Heiken is here. Shep Heiken is here. It is here. Well, so Shep, you too, okay, if you want to leave some information, how people can
Heiken.com. Yeah, just HYKEN.com. It's that easy.
That's easy.
And I'm everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, I'm there. I have a TV show, Be Amazing or Go Home. Does that sound like a good show? You can get it on Amazon, Apple TV, Roku, all these different other types of stations. Which and you can even go on YouTube now. We put the first season on YouTube. It is beamazing.tv. So there you go.
Nice. Well, thank you again, both of you. I'm very honored. This is a highlight for me for sure. I hope you enjoy the show. I hope the people that are watching us enjoy the show and learn something from it. I also say hello to R. Hello, R. I know you've been following the show. Thank you for being here too. And well, we're gonna have actually next week. We're gonna have another webinar, and it will be a very special one too. We will announce a new Ask Suite integration. And it will be with the leading company in online distribution and direct channel. So yeah, you have to follow us on our social media to find out who will be. And yeah, thank you all for being here, for joining us. And I hope to see you all again.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Svetlana.
Thank you, Paula. Love ya.
Thanks, Paula.
I'll talk to you soon, Chat.
Yeah. Bye-bye.